Hey everyone, I'm T West, and welcome to a game of Age of Empires 2. This is on the HD Edition, and we're going to be looking at echospot here. This is the first game of Age of Empires he's played online, and he had been asking for some tips, so we're going to take a look at him and see what he could work on. So, first things first, very nice choice of color. Cyan is of course my favorite color, so starting off on the right foot here. One thing, 2.0 means you're playing on fast speed. Probably best to play on normal speed, especially when you're just starting off. Normally new players have a lot of idle time, either villagers not working or town centers not creating villagers. And if you play on normal speed, it's going to be a lot easier to manage that. So, looks like blue probably was the host. I'm guessing that just because he's blue, and probably set it to fast speed, but if you host your own games, normal speed is probably the right thing to do. So let's get started here, and we'll unpause that and go to play. And so first thing, good, you've queued up your villagers, you're building your houses, and you're collecting your sheep. And very nice, looks like you're moving them under the town center. That's good. One thing as you get better, you're going to want to take 2 of your sheep and have them start scouting around your town center. It really helps with the early game scouting. And, here you are, you see. Your sheep is not underneath the town center. This villager kind of standing underneath the town center, but when this villager wants to drop off food, he's going to need to stand up and walk all the way around the other villagers. That villager could just stand up and drop it off, but this villager, once he gets to 10, he needs to walk all the way around and come back to the sheep. So this sheep, you'd want to right-click over here underneath the town center just to get it in position. Okay, so next, you've been scouting a bit. You notice you have another sheep here. You should go pick that up with your scout while the scout's nearby. You have your 4 deer here, and you are playing as the Mongols. Now, as the Mongols, if you look at your tech tree, you see hunters work 50% faster. Hunters are villagers who gather either from deer or from your boar. So it's going to be very important to take your boar. And these are some really nice deer because they're really, really close to your town center. As you get better, you could take your scout and put the scout behind the deer to kind of scare it and lure it in towards the town center. But these deer are close enough, you could consider just taking them with the villagers. They're close enough to the town center, you don't even need to build a mill to do that. But now that you have your 6 villagers on sheep, you need to start thinking about where you're going to place your lumber camp. And you've already scouted over here, and you see yourself on the map. You see that you're kind of in the bottom of the map. So it's going to be good to place your lumber camp towards the back of your base, where it's easier for you to defend and further away from your enemies. So let's keep going. And sending villager to your straggler. That's okay if you're still scouting and trying to find a forest, but looks like, okay, so you're putting it on a good forest, but it's kind of far away. Notice how it's 2 tiles away. I probably would have preferred to have put it down here. See how the trees make a little nook where you can fit your lumber camp in there. That'd be a good location. You want to build your lumber camp adjacent to your wood line. That means the villagers aren't going to have to walk as far to get to drop off the wood, because now look at how far he has to walk every time he wants to drop off some wood. See, look at how long that takes her to go back and forth between the lumber camps and the tree. You want to put it right up adjacent to the wood line. So now you found both your boars. This boar is going to be kind of annoying walking around the cliff there, but now would have been nice if you had noticed those sheep earlier and taken them with your scout a bit earlier. And now that you have a lumber camp, you should just be sending your wood villagers there. You don't need to send them to the straggler tree. And it looks like you're going to come pick up your sheep. Okay, so now this is important. You look at your town center. You have over 100 food. You can still queue up 2 villagers, but you don't have any villagers queued up at your town center. So if you go back and watch your replays, these are things you want to watch for. You want to look at idle time on your villagers. So if you have a villager just standing around not doing anything, that means you're going to gather fewer resources because the villager is being lazy and not doing anything. If you have idle time on your town center like you do here, that means you're not going to be able to create your villages as quickly, and that means you're going to be clicking up to the next age later. And the other thing to look for is idle time on your scout. If your scout's just standing around and not moving anywhere, that means you're going to have less scouting information. And it looks like you're scouting with the sheep down here, which is good. It'd be great to do that with 2 of your starting sheep at the beginning of the game. And now's the time when you want to start luring your boar. This is really important as the Mongols if you want to get a good uptime. It looks like you're putting 4 onto wood, maybe. When you're first starting out, you probably want to learn 2 build orders, both going scouts and a Drush Fast Castle, where you do the Drush Fast Castle if you have a really safe map with some back gold that's easy to wall, and scouts for more open maps. There's lots of other build orders you can do, but those are 2 of the basic ones when you're starting out. So I'd probably recommend going scouts on this map, where you'd only want 3 on wood, but that's okay. So now I would be sending a villager to lure probably that boar first, because it's a bit more forward and vulnerable to being stolen, but at this skill level, I don't think you really need to worry about boars being stolen. And again, want to keep those sheep underneath the town center so that villagers don't have to walk as far. And good, we've queued up some more villagers as we're still doing some scouting. And still sending more toward, yeah, at this point you really want to start luring the boar. If you delay the boar much past 3 or 4 villagers on wood, then you're not going to have the food that you need in time to click up to the feudal age. And so now you're scouting, and let's take a look at the map. So you're scouting, you're about to find where your opponent is, and you haven't seen any of his buildings yet, but you should still be able to tell that that's where your opponent is. Because, let's see, what resources have you found so far? You see this pile of 5 blocks of stone, and since that's really far away from your town center, you know that that actually belongs to your enemy instead of to you. So if we take a look at the map, let's see what resources players actually start with, because a lot of players, when they're first scouting, they realize, oh, I need to find my 2 boar and all 8 of my sheep, and that's it. But you also need to realize you need to find your golds and your stone piles. And it's not just like a bunch of gold spawns in random locations around the map. You actually have a set amount of gold that each player is given. So you're going to have your main gold pile of 7 tiles of 800 gold, and you're going to have 2 smaller gold piles of 4 gold mines each, and then you're going to have a pile of 4 stone mines and a pile of 5 stone mines. And you found your stone here. You get 1 pile of 5 stone, and when you see this, you know that you found your enemy, and more important, you know that his TC is around here and is going to be pretty close to you, so that's when you know you need to be careful with your scout so you don't run into an enemy TC. And another thing to know about these resources, your golds are really far forward, and your opponent's golds are really far forward, and we know that already since we've been scouting and we see all this gold here, so that should influence your strategy choice, knowing that you should be going aggressive, both to control your own golds and to kind of hit his golds. But the important thing is just making sure your scout is moving at this point, being aware and knowing what it is that you found and recognizing what it means where the gold is positioned on your map, and of course not running your scout into a town center. So let's keep going. As he doesn't have loom, this would be a chance for you to try to pick a villager because he's going for that boar. But that's good, Xing him, telling your teammates where he is. And yeah, looks like you still haven't hunted your boar. That definitely would be a good thing to do by now. And yeah, again, this mill, really far from the berries. It'd be better to put it here or here or here, right next to the berries, so the villagers don't have to walk as far. We see that these trees get chopped down really, really quickly. Oop, and looks like we're... Ooh, nice, nice. You're attacking a villager, and looks like you're going to delay the boar lore. Ooh, and trying to steal the boar, but running the scout away. And looks like the boar... You need to run the scout pretty far away for the boar to start, and into the town center, yeah. So... I don't know if that was a misclick or you're trying to steal the boar, but you ran the scout into the town center. You can tell kind of where the town center is, both by where the enemy's resources is, and if you see houses and straggler trees, that tells you the town center is there. That's not HD's fault there. That's you kind of need to pay attention to how your enemy's base is laid out so you know where the town center is. Even if your scout doesn't see the town center, you can tell where it is. Ooh, looks like we're luring in a boar right now. That's good, got it under the town center. And we're going to see just how quickly that food gets taken as the Mongols. It's going to get taken super quickly. And now, building a farm, that's very good that you're building the farm near the TC, because if you put it out here on the other side of the mill, then your villagers are pretty endangered. They won't be able to garrison inside the town center. And building a barracks, that's okay because you have some extra wood, but if you are going to go for some feudal aggression, you don't need to build the barracks in the Dark Age. You can wait until you're going up to feudal. Building a mill on the deer, that's okay. Especially as the Mongols, it's very important that you take those deer. And it looks like we're going out to hunt the second boar. These are close enough to the town center, you might consider just hunting them with villagers, or if you have the scout, it'd be great to push those deer in. But now there's that villager going to be hunting the boar and needs to run back to the town center. And oof, yeah, didn't run back to the town center in time. That boar, you can lure it without loom, but especially when you're first starting out, I definitely recommend getting loom because we have some more idle time on the town center. And especially if you're dealing with a game that there's a bit of lag, like on HD, it's a good idea to get loom just to be extra safe with your villagers. And another thing loom can help with is if you're struggling with your villager production, that if you do loom early in the Dark Age, you're spending 50 gold instead of 50 food, so you'll have a bit more food after you do loom to keep villagers queued up. And anyway, we're clicking up on 18 population. That's a pretty low population to click up on. We had a lot of idle time on that town center, so it'd be great to keep that town center working more efficiently. And, ooh, please all hunt the same deer. No, go to that deer, go to that deer. No. Oh, he's going to kill the other deer. Oh, well. Yeah. And another thing you might want to do is, now that the lumber camp's really far away, you normally want to have, like if you're going for a scout rush, normally you go for 22 population. As the Mongols, you can go up more quickly, but when you're first starting out, 22 population scout rush is a good thing to learn. You normally want to have 2 lumber camps so that your villagers can work a bit more efficiently. Here we are going up, and let's see what you do. You have a lot of resources, and purples, he's your ally. One thing to note, you don't need to scout your allies' bases. You can just communicate and chat with your allies and let them know what your base looks like if you need to. And so what are we going to do here? Now that we're up to the feudal age, if you're going to be making some units in feudal, and with a stable looks like you are, first thing you want to do really is do the double bit axe upgrade. Once you build that stable and you have the wood, which you do, start doing that double bit axe upgrade. Mining camp, you delete it and put it, oh that's good, you put it closer. So mining camp position, like before we said we wanted to build the lumber camp in the mill adjacent to the resources, the mining camp, normally you do want to have it 1 tile away. That's because gold has 800 gold as opposed to 125 food or 100 wood. So the villagers take a long time to mine that, and you're going to be putting lots of villagers on this gold pile. And if you put the mining camp adjacent to the gold, they get kind of clumped up on each other and walk and bump into each other while they're trying to mine the gold. And putting it 1 tile away like this is pretty good. You might have wanted to move it 1 tile over to the side just so that they'd be more efficient mining these, but still, that's okay. And another good thing is that it's on the side of the mine that's near the town center, so if you do get attacked and pushed off of the gold, you will be able to run your villagers back to the town center, as opposed to if it was over here, then the villagers have to walk all the way around the gold mine and they'd be pretty vulnerable. So now, looks like you completely denied that boar from your opponent, but at the same time, you should still try to take your boar, even if you did lose a villager, and you're just going to run past his scout. And this scout's just kind of going over here. So it looks like you don't really have a plan of what... Ooh, okay. So you rang the town bell there, and when you ring the town bell, that's good. You see that the opponent's scout there, and you want to shoot some arrows at it with the town center. But you don't want to press the ring town bell button, because all these gold miners are now going to come back and start running into the town center when... Now, we see you've already ungarrisoned the town center. They're not going to be back in time to do anything. What would be better is if you just drag a box around your farming villagers, then garrison just those villagers into the town center. There's a garrison button. I can't see that because of the spectator overlay, but there's a garrison button you can click and then click the town center, or you can hold down Alt and right-click the town center to put them in the town center. And then you use not the ungarrison hotkey, but the go back to work hotkey to send them back to work instead of needing to unring the town bell. And that's good because these villagers won't move back to the town center. Only these ones that have a chance of shooting at the scout will. Normally you don't want to ring the town bell, and it's better just to garrison the specific villagers you want, because otherwise you have a bunch of idle time with these ones over here. And again, let's notice town center is not making any villagers. You have a lot of food. Very important to keep that town center queued up. And yeah, so as I was saying, doesn't look like you really have a game plan of what you're doing with your scouts. Running another one into his town center, yeah. Especially since you already knew where that town center was. You gotta be careful not to put your scouts into it. You really want to scout out. There's a couple things you haven't seen. You don't know where he's taking wood. You can kind of guess that he's going to be taking wood over here since you've scouted the rest of the place and see that you haven't seen his lumber camp yet. So a good thing to harass would be his wood line. If he's going archers, then you do want to harass the gold. If he's making towers, then you want to harass the stone. But his wood and his food are very important to harass, because if you hit the food, then he's going to be later and clicking up to Castle Age. Instead, you're setting your scouts over kind of to the pocket, and they're not really going to be doing anything. It's like that one's just going to die to those scouts. And you're going to run another scout under the town center and lose it. Yeah, you want to be really careful with your scouts. Now you're making some men-at-arms. You're asking, where's P1 at? It's good communication with your teammates. Yeah. I don't know if militia is the right choice in this situation. Normally you make a stable and then you'd want to maybe transition into some archers. As if he does put up some walls, which would be a good thing to do to defend against scouts. Walls can be extremely effective at defending against scouts. Then you'd want some archers to be able to shoot over the walls and apply some more pressure to him. And archers also have the benefit that when you get to the Castle Age, you can upgrade them to crossbowmen. And crossbowmen is a really strong upgrade that really gives you a power spike immediately when hitting the Castle Age. But these militia, even if you do go into men-at-arms, you're probably not going to want to go into longswordsmen in case, unless maybe you're playing the Aztecs or the Mayans, or in the expansions, the Incas, and they're going heavy into Eagle Warriors. Let's see. Okay. So if you do get attacked and try to run to your opponents, you should flare his town center, let him know you're coming, so that he can garrison his villagers. That way, you lost a scout, and he lost a villager, and his scout didn't even attack. So it'd be good to communicate with your teammates that you're running towards them. That's a good way to keep your scout safe. If it's low on HP and is going to lose the scout fight, just let your teammate know that you're coming and that you need some help. But your opponent's up to the Castle Age, and you're still fighting with men-at-arms, and you're going up to the Castle Age as well, and you built a market. So a market's a building that's good for rebalancing your economy, but it does cost 175 wood, and that's wood you could be using to make an archery range or some other buildings. So normally it's much better just to concentrate on keeping your economy balanced without needing a market. And of course a market is a good idea if you want to rebalance your eco and you're having some trouble managing stuff, but an early market normally is because you're under a lot of pressure and you need that immediate source of extra resources. So now you're up to the next stage doing bloodlines. That's okay, but you don't really have many scouts. Bloodlines is good if you went heavy into scouts, and you can even research it in the feudal age. But maybe if you want to go knights, that's an okay idea. But the main thing is, you can see your opponent. You can see that he's pretty open with all his resources in the front, and you're going to come in with these men-at-arms, and it looks like you're going to attack these villagers. That'll be good. So that'll delay the TC. Yeah, make sure you attack the villagers and not the TC. And pay attention. You always want to be clicking on the villagers, seeing which ones are the weak ones so that you can kill them, and looks like that's not going to go up yet, so good job denying that. But we're still not producing any castle age units. Making another town center, that's an okay location. Might have been better kind of move it out here to secure this gold as well, but it's good keeping it near your base, keeping things nice and safe. I like that you rebuilt the lumber camp so that your villagers don't have to walk as far, but still would have been good to make the original one in a bit of a better location. And archery ranges. Archery ranges, I like to see that. That's very good at the start of the castle age. And going cav archers, that's okay as the Mongols, but I still probably would recommend going crossbowmen as anyone who is not the Huns. Because Huns are very good for cavalry archers because they're cheaper, but Mongols, in the expansions they get a discount, but not if you're playing with the original dataset. I didn't check which dataset this was being played with. So, problem right here is that you only have one archery range. When you get to the castle, especially if you go castle a bit late like you did, you want more than one archery range. I normally recommend, unless you're like super fast up to the castle age, but if you get to the castle age at a normal time, build 4 archery ranges, make crossbowmen from all the archery ranges, and very important, your blacksmith upgrades. If you're making ranged units, you need to get fletching and bodkin arrow, the 2 ranged upgrades, because it's very important to get the extra range. Right now, these cavalry archers just have 4 range, when they could have 6 range, and that'll allow them to do a lot more harassment. Now you have this scout, you can see that he has this wood line here. That'd be a good place for you to attack with these cav archers, because you know that he has a town center here, protecting the gold, but if you get on the opposite side of this wood line or over here, you can hit these villagers without being able to be harassed by the town center, and that'll be a nice safe place to attack him and to get some idle time. And let's see, you're adding in some more farms, and you're going over to the pocket, it looks like. So that's a really far distance for you to travel, and probably would have been easier just to try to harass your nearby opponent. Now he's looks like Green's building a town center over here. Probably not the best location. I'd recommend keeping it in his base to help his economy be a bit stronger. Now you're able to get some good harassment on this wood line. That's what I like to see. Getting is not only killing villagers, but also forcing all these villagers to go back into that town center and not do anything while they're in the town center. While they're in the town center, they're not chopping wood. So that's really good. And let's see. Still not making many military units. This TC is idle when you have a lot of food. And look at all that wood you have. You should be investing that wood into something else, either into some units at the archery range, into some more farms, into maybe a university. If you want to go heavy into cav archers, it'd be good to build a university to do ballistics. So whenever you see that you have a lot of resources stockpiled like that, you should be thinking, wow, how can I spend these resources? And if you are floating a lot of resources that you're not using, you should be thinking, oh, maybe I have too many villagers on wood. What else can I do with these villagers? I could make some farms to spend that wood, or I could just retask these villagers to get gold, so then I'll have some more gold, I can produce more units, but definitely one archery range, not enough at this point in the game. You have, let's see, 3 cavalry archers. You should have a lot more units. You have the economy to sustain a lot more units too. And it looks like we're going to get the wolf kill from the cavalry archers. Very nice. Keeping them alive, not getting that wolf kill on the cav archer. And there's that boy still sitting out there all lonely, not taken. And this boy's having trouble with these houses. Yeah. So let's see. So red is your pocket. Looks like he's booming up. He has a lot of knights here. Good that he's made knights. As the pocket, you pretty much always want to make knights, unless you're like the Mayans, in which case you can make plumes, or the Aztecs, in which case in the original game, you kind of have to either sling or boom. But longswords, quite the interesting choice from yellow, and archery range units should be a good counter to the longswords. So if you see he's making longswords, and you have an archery range, you know, archers are good. And a castle coming up, and a watchtower on your gold. You don't really need the watchtower there because you already have the town center protecting that location, and then you can always just garrison your villagers, hold Alt, and right-click the town center to put them inside of it. Tower there would have been good in the feudal age if your opponent was, say, going archers, and it would be good to put it there to keep your gold safe. Even maybe put it on this side so that the archers wouldn't be able to camp the hill as easily, and so that'd be easier for your villagers to walk and garrison inside the tower. But good use of houses. I like to see this, building a makeshift wall using the houses to keep your opponent out. The one problem with this is that it's a bit close to your gold mine. Would have been maybe a bit nicer to wall further forward so that if he has some archers here, or a mangonel even, he could hit that tower, hit those gold miners, whereas if you built the wall a bit further out, you'd be a little safer. Now making some knights, making the crossbowman upgrade, that's good, but still definitely more production facilities. And you have a lot of resources now, not much is going on. You could think about clicking up to the Imperial Age. You have a pretty good economy, and Red's making some trade cards. This is a bit too early in the game to be trading. You probably want to be thinking about securing a trade line. So maybe something like building some markets in this corner and down in this corner. Maybe you're the Mongols, so siege onagers, of course, could cut this forest, make it easier for the trade to pass through. But trading is only something you do once you get to the Imperial Age and have one side of the map secured. Not really that efficient starting in the Castle Age. Now another castle coming up to protect this side of the map. And Green's just building a wall in the middle of nowhere. Green's starting to attack. And he has some camels, but your pikemen are going to be a good counter to that. Now, as the Mongols, you probably don't want to go too heavily into pikemen, because you can't upgrade them to halberdier in the Imperial Age. That is one weakness that you're not the greatest at dealing with. Cavalry, you do have heavy camels, but of course they cost gold. And Mangudai are a great unit, but they do take a lot of upgrades until they get to the point where they're really usable. And this is what I like to see. Yellow making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stables. Castle, probably don't want to put it adjacent to the stone. And look at this, 1, 2, 3 barracks, multiple archery ranges. Houses could probably be in a more useful location, but yeah, archery range is going to be blocking the gold again. You guys want to be thinking about where you place your buildings. It'd be great for him to put a town center somewhere here. It looks like there is a bit of a hill blocking it, but that would help secure both this wood line and these 2 gold piles. But now, lots of knights from him. If you see a player going heavy into knights, know that you always have the option of making some camels as the Mongols to counter those knights. And that town center is still on fire from when those men-at-arms attacked his foundation, and this year, yellow should be replacing that lumber camp. It's... Ooh, yes, just like you've done here, that's good. Building another lumber camp, a 3rd lumber camp so that your villagers don't have to walk back and forth. And that original lumber camp, it is pretty far away right now. And it's like yellows, but let's see. As the army is moving up, are you going to attack anything? No. So right now your army is just kind of sitting around here not doing anything. Same with red, and same with pretty much everyone other than blue over here who's attacking purple. And we see, just based on the scores, how much trouble purple's been having, because blue looks like he's been actively building his castles forward. You want to you don't even need to engage his army. If you just brought those Mangudai around here, you have your scout in this location, you can see, yellow has all these villagers out here. They're just so nice for you to kill. Just bring your Mangudai, bring them around this area of the map, set them behind this woodline, get some kills on the villagers. Mangudai are pretty safe. That you're far away from the town center. And if he decides then that he's going to bring his army over to attack your Mangudai, well, you have Mangudai there on the cavalry, they can just run away. Ooh, looks like a wolf got a villager kill down here earlier. And his main gold about to run out. He's town center in the middle of nowhere, not that useful. Looks like Green's finally going to decide he's had enough of that scout that's standing in the wood line. He's just going to go and kill it. Now look at your resources. Again, could click up to the Imperial Age. Could even sell some wood to get the gold you need. Use the market to balance stuff. Again, let's see, what's the population limit? Is 300 population? Okay. Yeah, normally I recommend 200 population because it's a lot less laggy in the late game, and also because at this skill level you're probably not going to reach 300 population anyway, so it's worth it not to do with the extra lag. And now crossbowmen going to engage here. Now it's very important that you want your crossbowmen to focus down the pikemen because you also have knights mixed in with this army, and have them, you know, fire at the pikemen as well, because these pikemen are really going to destroy your knights, and the crossbowmen, you want to use the crossbowmen to deal with the pikemen and micro the knights so that they stay away from the pikemen and attack the other units. Now we see more pikemen over here, and make sure that all your units are engaging and firing at the pikemen at once, and they'll go down pretty quickly to the crossbowmen and the Mangudai. Again, we are missing the blacksmith upgrades though. He's missing his as well, so it kind of evens out, but you are missing the range upgrades. And now I'd like to see that adding in siege weapons, and oh, look at this, finally adding in 2 stables, more archery ranges. There you go, that's what I want to see, more buildings. You probably don't need to make 3 blacksmiths. That is, yeah, quite powerful if you want to do all your blacksmith upgrades at the same time. Sometimes a double blacksmith is worthwhile, but 3 blacksmiths all forward is a bit overkill. That might have been a misclick on a hotkey, maybe he meant to build something else, but of course it doesn't really matter where you position your blacksmith. You can use it as a wall, but no real point in building it forward unless you just have a village there. What's the key for chat all? It's the asterisk key, at least on American keyboards. If you hold down shift and press 8, that'll make the asterisks, and when that's at the start of the chat, it'll chat all. You can also just go to the chat, to the chat menu that I cannot open while watching the replay. There's a hotkey for it. I believe it's Alt-T. Yep. And then you can like click the buttons to change the people to whom you're chatting. More rams coming forward. That's what I like to see. I like to see lots of siege weapons. Siege weapons are really good. Again, you have lots of resources. You need more buildings so that you can spend them. All these pikemen queued up at once, but stables have nothing queued up. This archery range doesn't have anything queued up. The siege workshop doesn't have anything queued up. Probably should... You see that gold? Now you see you're pretty low on gold. Could consider having some villagers build another mining camp, start mining that gold as well. And could even consider moving out to this gold. You can see that there's something going on with that tree chopped. But now Green's trying to come forward and build a wall. Now this is the point. Now, a lot of new players kind of struggle both with idle villagers and the speed at which you need to play, and also with just making sure that their military units also are not idle. So, looks like you have cartography. So if you look at red and you see that he's not doing anything, just kind of flare his base and say, hey, could you please use your units, and then flare where you're fighting, because you don't want to be 2v1, and sometimes in these newer games your teammates just don't know enough that they need to attack and say, yep, help doing 2v1 over here. So sometimes it helps if you kind of explicitly say, like, hey red, could you please use your units or send them over here, because, no. We're all new at one point. Sometimes we just don't know that we need to send our units to our teammates. And yellow here looking really strong. He has lots of skirmishers. And he is up to the Imperial Age, you know. He could have been Imp a lot sooner, but looks like you invested your resources elsewhere. You have 4 castles, which is good as the Mongols. You'll be able to produce a lot of Mangudai, and you've garrisoned the villages in that town, in that castle, which will be good because it'll increase the attack of the castle, and it'll also keep those villagers safe from these pesky skirmishers. And of course, scorpions. Scorpions are a fun unit. Normally not the best unit to build, but against elite skirmishers, they're a great counter to the elite skirmishers, and they're really gonna clean this up really quickly. So that's a great use of scorpions right there. And now green trying to wall up here. Red looks like he's not going to finish that wall on either side, and he's just gonna build a wall in front of his base. Okay, but there we go. Finally, he's sending some knights over. Purple has some knights there as well, all the way from the other side of the map. He's responding to your call from help by sending all of his army over, as blue has also decided he's not going to use his army. He's just going to stand in his base. He does have lots of archery ranges, though. That's good. Lots of these production facilities. Does have some siege units. I like to see rams. That's another thing new players kind of don't do enough of. They don't use enough siege weapons. Sometimes it's because their mangonels kill their own troops, but siege weapons definitely want lots of siege workshops. They're expensive for a reason. It's because they're powerful, and if you want to win games, you're going to need lots and lots of siege weapons and lots of siege workshops. Now, trebuchets coming out. Trebuchets are pretty hard to deal with when you're just in the castle age, especially when they're behind walls. So, we do have a lot of rams, though. Rams will be good at pushing into these castles and trebuchets, especially against these skirmishers. The problem is these Mameluke. They do tear through rams quite quickly. But these scorpions will also die, and that castle's gonna go down. That's rough because you're gonna lose control of that stone, but now, responding by building more buildings, I like that. Definitely more buildings, always a good choice, will help you spend all these resources that you've now been in stockpiling. And let's turn the Fog of War back on. We have some pretty good vision now. But now, cavalry archers, not the best choice against the Mameluke because these units counter cavalry, and cavalry archers are, of course, cavalry units. Maybe either some skirmishers or some normal expo would have been a better choice versus them. And now his rams are going to be coming forward, and here's where you could be asking purple to help take out those rams. There's Xing something over here. Okay. And now lots of pikemen queued up from these barracks. That's good. What is green walling over here? Okay, he's just building some walls. And red. Yeah, this would be a good time to X red's base and just be like, please use. It's like red, please use, and then X over here where the battle's going on. Just to let he knows that all these units, they could be doing something. Extra gold, anyone? Let's check your scouting. You have this big black area of the map down here, right? I wonder what's going to be in that black area. Hey, look, there's some gold there. So yeah, red started taking your gold. You should come back and take his gold. Double university, triple university. Really gonna go for those university techs. There's even some more gold over here, and a bit left over here. Didn't mind any of that 800 gold. These villagers probably will auto-task them over there anyway once they finish that. But now, look at all these resources you have floating. Again, nowhere near that 300 population limit. You have room to add lots more units. These barracks back here, they're kind of idle. You're probably paying attention and queuing up here, but remember, you still have all these buildings back here that can be producing units. And now you have the resources to click up to the Imperial Age. Looks like you did sell some food there. And now green, not quite going to finish this wall off. Looks like he was trying to wall in that gold, but you're going to stop that, which is really good. And here comes purple, going to engage with his knights against the skirmishers. And that'll work out well aside from these paladin that are there, but purple has the numbers. He's able to take that fight, as your pikemen will do quite a bit of damage to these Mameluke. And yellow will push back purple, but that did delay yellow's push. It will slow down these trebs before they get into position to take out the castle. And Xing them, knowing there are trebs there. You do have these buildings here. And, oh yeah, Purple taking a really good fight against the elite skirmishers, and your pikemen are gonna come out, and it looks like you might be able to kill the Trebs. Pikemen, of course, do very, very little damage to Trebs, only 4 attack, especially without any of the blacksmith upgrades. And Treb, that one's going to go down, and so is that one, but the castle goes down. If you see castles attacking your trebuchets, especially since you do have a bit of stone, you have some villagers nearby, it's good just to select a whole bunch of villagers and then right-click the castle so that they repair the castle. It's much cheaper to repair buildings than it is to build new buildings. To go from 1 HP to the full cost of a building, it's only half the cost of the building. So if castles are 650 stone, it's 325 stone to repair that. Town centers are an exception to that rule, but they're kind of special. And now Red finally coming over to help, bringing some cavalry archers as your Mangonel's getting some good shots on the Mameluke, and looks like it's going to be able to push them back. And Red finally using his units in a good way to help out. Green's trying to wall up, needs to, he's going to miss one tile. Nope, he's going to get the wall up, okay. So Green's finally secured that gold for himself. Yellow has lag. It's HD. Everyone has lag. And now, Red's building a castle and moving forward with his cavalier. That's good. Blue still isn't doing anything with his army, just standing around in his base. His onagers were in that position on that hill back when they were still just mangonels, but looks like he's finally going to be attacking with 3 trebuchets. Should probably take out that castle. He's coming in with some heavy cavalry archers. And lots of army here. He could be moving forward, especially while Purple's on this side of the map. And Red still hasn't completed this wall. Still trading a really short distance. So markets are more effective the further away you place them. You see your market is over here, and Red's market is here, and that has 22 gold. You can see that in the status area at the bottom of the screen. And then if you go over to Purple's market, he has 48 gold. So it's better to trade with the markets that are further away because you generate more gold. That's why you'll always see players build their markets in the corner of the map and in the other corners, and even try to build walls over here to protect their markets, just so that their trade cards have a really long and straight trade route so that they can get more gold. But now Yellow, he's finally decided, I'm going to come over to this side of the map. You okay, Purple? Well, to put it bluntly, he needs help. Yes, he's going to need a lot of help. He only has 1 town center, so it's very good that you ended up making 1, 2, 3 town centers, 4 town centers. That's very good, so you're going to be able to, with those town centers, make lots of villagers. Again, you have the resources to click up to the Imperial Age. Let's see if you do that soon. Hopefully you will do that soon. You have so many resources. Gotta spend them on something. Ooh, making some more Mangudai. But they're all queued up in one castle. Would be better to balance them more evenly between both the castles so that they produce more quickly. And now, let's see. Are these Mangudai gonna get some rating on the wood line? Where are they gonna go? Ooh, yeah, and there's a hole there, so they're gonna get in. They could kill quite a few villagers, but looks like they're just gonna run into a castle though. Flaring over here. Let's see what's going on. Ooh, Ram doesn't quite break down the gate, but Red is using his mangonels, getting some very nice shots on the Mameluke. As ooh, yes, there we go. That's what I like to see. There's this wood line here, the Mangudai. Gonna fire some arrows at. Okay, that's weird. That villager is not getting hurt by the. They are firing at that villager, right? I don't know what this is. This is HD always finds a way to surprise us with some new bugs. That villager just tanking all that Mangudai fire. You're finally going, Imp. But I want to look at the battle, but this villager is just gonna stand there, and the Mangudai finally stopped firing. Okay, well, they're gonna start firing. Okay, here comes some more Mangudai attacking some. What? Okay then. So, as I was gonna say, this is very good. You want to target your opponent's wood lines, and she finally goes down to the Mangudai. But you want to target your opponent's wood lines so that so that their eco is less efficient and you kill their villagers. You don't necessarily need to kill their villagers, but just as long as they're not gathering resources, that's a good attack by you. And so, I like all this production we have up here, but again, we have resources, and these buildings aren't queued up. We do have 300 population. It's good that we've gotten up there pretty high in population, even if it is like about an hour and 22 minutes into the game. But now our buildings are starting to be idle again, and we really want to start queuing up units, especially since we have these road raiders here. We know that Mongols, Mangudai are, of course, the bread and butter of the Mongol army, but they also do have access to arbalest, which are pretty cheap and also decent against the infantry that your opponent's making. Oh, and look at that. Looks like we finally started to get the blacksmith upgrades on your units. And they have done the teammates have done the attack upgrades, but looks like it's pretty much over. Asking for help, but there really isn't anything to help. Red should be garrisoning his villagers again. Has some idols, and yeah, it looks like it's pretty much over at this point with your teammates dying. You did do a pretty great job of holding the line, like 3v1 for a while there, but yeah. It's what happens in games with newer players. It's hard to balance out the teams, especially since this is your very first game. It looks like you played, pretty competitively with the rest of the players in this game for quite a long time. But I'm just gonna speed this up a bit. Bombard cannons, destroying your production facilities, and again, just make sure you do the blacksmith upgrades and your eco upgrades. Ooh, I like that you're attacking the castle with the rams, but you should move up these trebuchets. They're idle right now. You could have the trebuchets attack that castle as well. But purple just pretty much gone at this point. Red is pretty much dead as well, trying to send his army back, but still not much there. Not much there to defend with. Ooh, and now the very powerful Saracen combination of Siege Onager and Bombard Cannon. Gonna come out and start destroying these barracks. Good job taking out some of his stables, but you left your trebuchets unprotected there. It'd be good to have some units there, either even if they're just pikemen, something to deal with the paladin, some pikemen or some heavy camels, or pretty much anything really, just to put in front of the trebuchets. Now, really strong push on this side. Oh, look at all these barracks. That makes me feel good. Look at all these barracks. The problem is all the pikemen are queued up, one barracks at a time. You gotta switch between the different barracks and queue them up. Or at least on HD, you can do a multi-queue where you can select all your barracks and just like repeatedly tap the hotkey to queue up pikemen. But you really just want to keep them queued up evenly, because if we look, we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 barracks out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 barracks that we have here. So about half your barracks aren't producing units there. As blue finally cleaning up red, looks like yellow's paladins either ran away or just got so frightened of these stationary units and unupgraded skirmishers that they just couldn't do any more raiding on that town center. Again, probably good to call GG at this point. You see that your teammates are mostly dead and that all of your opponents have pretty sizable armies. And and you're starting to get pushed back as well. I'm just gonna speed this up a bit more, and hopefully the replay won't go out of sync. Oh, there's. I heard a town bell somewhere. Again, taking wood, but should notice that there's gold here and build a mining camp on the gold. Well, there is also, when you go to the larger map sizes, there will be more gold piles on the map. In addition to your starting golds for each of the players, tiny map size gives you 2 extra piles of 3 gold mines each, and larger map sizes will also put more gold on the map. So, well, it's good. I like to see that, building more farms near the mills, especially as you're running out of food. But looks like things are winding down at this point. And it looks like you're still trying to find to find that Asterisk character to talk to everyone. Every character except the right one. And then you just say GG to your teammates. And you resign. Let's see. Okay, so that was, the first time I ever tried to play a game. I think I read a 22 pop Feudal Age build order and got to the Feudal Age at like 14 minutes when, the good time for doing that is like 10 minutes and 5 seconds, ideally, and probably you want to be around 10-10 in a real game if you have just a tiny bit of lag. So, pretty well played. I like that you, at the end, added in a whole bunch of production buildings, made a whole bunch of units, and were able to hold the line. Even 3v1, even an age behind, you didn't fall back. So then your teammates probably should resign at this point. And of course, we'll have that legendary villager who just soaked up all that Mangudai fire without dying. And we'll just wait here for these teammates to resign. There we go. Alright, GG. Let's take a quick look at these achievements. I guess I gotta hit quick game on HD. There we go. Alright. So if we look at military stats, oh, there we go. 900 units lost. The bad thing about that is that you lost 926 units. But the good thing about that is that you produced 926 units. And you lost 126 buildings, but that means you built at least 126 buildings. You see Red. Yeah, Red had the largest army of 187, really taking advantage of that 300 population limit, but didn't use it as well as he could have. And economy had the most wood collected. That's good. Trade profit. Ah, yeah, look, that's Green knows what he's doing in the late game. Had quite a bit of trade profit. That's because they must have had a pretty good trade line. And Imperial Age time could definitely have clicked up to the Imperial Age a lot earlier. You had the resources for it. Always remember that the Imperial Age costs 1,000 food and 800 gold, and unless you're playing a civ with an eco bonus like the Byzantines, that makes it cheaper. But let's see, relic gold. Oh, Red did do a good job of collecting the relics, but villager high, 137 villagers. That's what I like to see. The highest villager count in the game. Always a good sign for, if you're a new player, that you created more villagers, and that you kept creating villagers even when you started fighting. So if we look at the timeline, we see did get a pretty good military population, but Red had a pretty big population, but just didn't use it that effectively. Purple was kind of hit hard by Blue pretty early, so... Oop, I did not mean to hit play again there. Oh well, hopefully HD doesn't crash, but... Okay, well, hopefully you learned something from that. I'm going to try to find some more new player games and maybe do some more of these. So give it a like if you like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.